when you do not take chances and the opposition scores the only goal of the game, you do not win any games. You do not deserve to get any points. That is the big lesson that Johor Darul Takzim has to remember, as they just lost 0-1 to Chinese Super League side Shandong Lunan Taishan in the AFC Champions League Elite earlier this evening. In fact, this game was not remarkable apart from JDT actually having quite a number of chances. They had more than a handful of shots in front of goal, but Shandong goalkeeper Wang Dalei, who also is China's current number one goalkeeper, he stood in the way. 4 big saves in the first half and 1 more in the second half. That was one of the reasons why Johor lost. And when you fail to get past one of the best goalkeepers in China time and time again, frustration does kick in. Momentum does get a little lost, and while Johor was having the better momentum of the game, eventually all Shandong needed was just that one slip, and it was a combination of 2 import substitutes from the home team. That moment that came in the 60th minute when halftime substitute Zeka, he was put through a goal by fellow Brazilian substitute Christian. It was that marginally offside thing that he managed to break through and took his chance, where so many other attempts from both teams for Johor, if they were not saved by Wang Dalei, they were missing them skying quite a few of the shots, and so did Shandong as well, including the late opportunity to win the game, especially when Shandong they were through on goal actually deep into injury time. It's like with only 2 Johor defenders scrambling back, and you got time to cross and take a shot, and instead he skied over. So it was a wasted opportunity for Shandong to seal the win deep into injury time. But Johor had to learn lessons from their profligacy in front of goal, especially in also rather comical attempts to try to earn penalties. I think especially the first half when, if I'm not wrong, Arif Aiman was through on goal and Wang Dalei actually touched the ball first and Arif Aiman took a dive. Probably in the domestic league, Johor would instantly get a penalty, but unfortunately the referee for this game tonight is one of the most no-nonsense referees in Asia. Ali Reza Fagani, formerly of Iran and now with Australia. And the thing is, with this guy in charge, he's not going to give any leeway when it comes to the rules or up to any antics, because he has seen so many of these that he will not tell which one is a dive, which one is a serious contention for a penalty or for a major free kick decision. The fact that he did not even need to utilize VAR at all showed his ability to control or compose himself in the game, although he also showed the strict side of himself when he gave a couple of yellow cards to Johor players early in the midway in the first half for protesting too much. It was probably his way of telling the Johor players, look, I'm in charge of the game, do not interfere. And you have to expect that this is something that, probably given the culture that these Johor imports have, it's not easy to control. And also, the thing is, once again, the same starting 11, or largely the usual starting 11 in what has been Johor's AFC Champions Elite campaign so far, apart I think from the game against Gangwon, where they actually had Feroz Baharudin at centre back. But it was largely the same lineup, and once again Obregon actually started as the starting centre forward. The thing is, he did have a bit more presence in the first half before he got substituted in the 50th minute, but unfortunately he hadn't had a I won't say ability, but how did he not manage to weigh that offside trap to go through? Actually, he managed to score, but when replay showed that he was unfortunately clearly offside when the through ball came down the middle. Sorry, once the decision is made and once it's correct, you can't protest against it. And the thing is, Johor overall were in control. It was not a good game overall from both sides, although Shandong actually, to their credit, played their cards a bit better than Johor, especially throwing in the import substitutes at halftime or in the second half, which was remarkable because especially when Shandong had their head coach Choi Kang-ki suspended, and it was the bench the coaches who were allowed to sit on the bench were able to still control the flow of the game, not convincingly, but did enough. And with that, actually, the ultimate record for Johor against the three Chinese clubs, the two Shanghai clubs, Shanghai Port and Shanghai Shenhua, and Shandong Taishan, it reads 1 win, 1 draw, and 1 loss. And it's a modest outcome for their battles against these Chinese teams, although it's also a concern that in Johor's 3 away games so far, they have 4 away games and 4 home games in this AFC Champions League. No round robin where you play one another, every other team home and away each. No, so 3 away games, only 1 point against Shanghai Port. The losses against Gangwon and also tonight to Shandong Taishan. There's some concern, and I think Johor's best chance of qualifying to the next stage lies in their home form, where they have won both their home games so far at Sultan Ibrahim Stadium. So the wait for another away victory continues. The wait for at least a second away point continues. It's finally a case of where Johor had more control of the ball, they had the more dangerous chances, but Wang Dalei was in inspired form, and Ali Reza Fagani is not going to be conned by these little things when you go and take a dive inside the penalty box. He's one of the most experienced referees. He's not going to be conned by it. So no way Johor would get any penalty. They had a late free kick, but their desperation ratio, and when they fail to take all these shots late on, you know there's already game, set, and match. And this is where I think lessons have to be drawn. It's not a lopsided game. Johor, with their lineup, with their substitutes in hand, they are showing the experience and quality needed. But still, I think despite 6 days or almost a week of being in China, quite acclimatized to the weather, but not being that used to the officiating, and I think it's also a little bit of the mentality being inspired by Wang Dalei, that ultimately it's Johor's downfall. That's it. Have a good evening.